it always helps to turn the microphone on. So, what I was saying is, we know Andy Doswell got a bit of news a while ago and it wasn't so good, but then good news came through in the end, and we hope that everything is going well for you, Andy. We were only thinking of Mr. Doswell recently. He came into my mind here. So, we hope all is well in your world, sir. Now, yes, sound is always good. Vision is okay, but sound is better. That's why we like radio so much. But we also like televisions. I'm out here this evening. I've made 2 videos. One is going to be not very interesting. The other one's going to be only mildly interesting. Our latest project here is that we're taking on a TV 62 for Christmas. I know of so much other stuff I should be finishing. However, the brain just needs something simple at the minute, and we think the 62 will be a simple thing to be dealing with coming up to Christmas. I would ask that you give me the old thumbs up, people out there, if you can. Andy Doswell says, all good. Great. I'm glad to hear that, Andy. And he hit 2,000 subscribers today. Well done, Andy. It won't be long till you'll be overtaking me. Good man. I currently have 3,917 subscribers. If I actually put some effort in, I'm sure it will be more than that. But as everyone knows, family life is taking precedence at the minute, and will continue to do so for some time, I'm sure. However, we're trying to work life into making more time for this kind of stuff. And I even went to the expense of taking a part-time job, and even still, I have no time. So I don't know. It's difficult, but life is such. So Andy Doswell is good, and I'm glad to hear it. 62s are a nice, easy set. They are. That whole 53 series set, and of course, the 62 is, except for it has electrostatic focus instead of magnetic. They're the same set, more or less. The controls are moved to the back instead of the front, and so on and forth. But yeah, life is good. This is an unexpected live stream, Alan Hurst. Yes, indeed it is. I won't be on for too long because it is getting late and we have things to do tomorrow. But I did say that I would come on for a few minutes after making several videos. So the first video was on the TV62, which you'll see in due course. Just an introductory video to that television. And, of course, the required drying out of the line output transformer. The second video was on this Trio 9R 59D, which we've had under the bench for many years, and we decided to dig out of hibernation and power up and just see what we could hear. We heard lots of things, mainly switch mode power supplies. I was having a listen around for Dutch Pirates, which are populate the AM top of the AM medium wave band at this time of night, especially on a Friday and Saturday. However, the switch mode power supply noise is too strong in here, really, so it's not great. Look, the stronger broadcasts on medium wave are coming in. That's better. We can hear Radio Caroline here quite well. Or at least we could hear Radio Caroline. I reckon that's Radio Caroline there. Anyway, let's catch up with the chat. No, commies, I hope all is good, nice and breezy out. It sure is. Doing a live stream on Sunday, can't stay yet. Just been outside and lowered my mast. Yes, it's certainly getting a bit nasty. It's not too bad here yet. But here it's breezy out, but it's not. 309D, what's it? It is indeed a 309D, and she is not great. They're not a great radio unless you go to a great extent with the modifications. This does have the LIve2u HT stabilizer fitted. I think one of the problems on this is the wax on the RF coils in the coil box is killing the Q. It seems to be cutting out. It's not oscillating on the top band, the lower end of the top band, which isn't good enough. Hard that the wax, the dampness gets into them and kills the Q, and I think that might be the case. The wax doesn't really do anything, so we'll get the hot air going to it and see if it would improve the situation some of these days. So. Caroline is audible here, and you're in Yorkshire. I find Caroline a wonderful signal when I'm over in the UK driving around. Once you get onto what I find is, once you get sort of past Chester, it's kind of there. And then once you get down near Oxford, it's a solid signal. Doswell's was shit as well. Yeah, I mean, they probably did disappoint a lot of people. The only thing about them was, Kenwood encouraged modifications, and that's what they were built for. They were built as sort of a basic radio that you could build on, and if you went to the effort, obviously the basic one didn't have the HT stabilizer in them and stuff like that, and I think you could put a calibrator in them as well, crystal calibrator. So if you did that, the HT stabilizer, I think there was also a modification for a product detector on sideband, which would have been a massive help, and stuff like that, and you could make them good. Mr. Doswell's ground isn't great. He's on clay. I was talking to a young gentleman earlier on there on the 2-meter repeater who isn't licensed. I was sitting here, and a couple of times over the evening, I heard the repeater click on, and hello, and nothing else. So I put my call sign out there a while ago, and he came back to me. And that's him now clicking it again, I'd say. He's after charging up his battery, and he said he found a handheld radio, and he's been reading about amateur radio, and he's going to register for his license. So we wish him well anyway. We weren't too mean to him. We just explained to him that, you need to have an amateur radio license before you go on air. And then we asked him what his radio was, and he couldn't tell me. But he told me he was in South County Dublin and was excited about amateur radio. So you never know. There's no point getting nasty with these people either. And some people would go on and say, you get off the air, you're not licensed. But, what's the point? It's not like he's clogging up 2 meters these days anyway. There's no one on it. So that is the story here. The chat has stopped. Let's make sure we're on top chat. Top chat. Main chat. Still the same. Anyway, that's the amateur radio situation here. Correct attitude. I definitely didn't make up a call sign. Yeah, and this chap didn't make up a call sign or even try to be deceptive in any way. I think he'd no understanding of what he was doing. So, you got to encourage these people. I know for a fact that there's people they used that repeater, if they heard him call him with no call sign, they would have barraged him with abuse. And there's absolutely no need for it. So, you know, you tell them the situation. You have a little backward and forward with them for a minute, and then you cut it loose. You know. White Sapphire reckons we're all stuck for something to say. Well, the Kraken is here. Good evening, sir. I hope you're keeping well too. I won't be on too long because it is very late. But as I explained earlier on the live stream, that I was making a couple of videos here, and I just said I'd push the button on the computer and go live for a few minutes. It's almost time to put up my Christmas lights. The Christmas tree is up in the house, so we'll have to populate the workshop with Christmas festive vintage bulbs of the incandescent type. Dozzer says, at the time, it wasn't actually possible for me to get a license. I was too young. Noel tells us it's getting wild in Galway. It's not too bad here yet. Hasn't reached us yet, but it is to be bad later. Patrick Bourne has his Christmas tree up too. Very good. Internet killed ham radio. I'd agree. I'd give it one more, and I'd say that mobile phones killed amateur radio. I can remember as a kid, a cousin of mine was into amateur radio, and sometimes you bring his 2-meter handheld radio down to our house, and we'd listen to it on the kitchen table. And 2 meters used to be jammed. Now I'm talking about the mid-90s, and then around between sort of 98 and 2000, 2 meters went from jammed to a ghost town, because a lot of people got the amateur radio license to use 2 meters as a communication, and that's what they used to do. They used to use it like a mobile phone, and you used to hear calls on a Friday night, like, you know, we'll meet you down the pub in 10 minutes, okay, and stuff like that. Of course, mobile phones came along, that was the end of that. But no, 2 meters was certainly interesting back then. We're rocking the wind right now and under an amber storm warning. Yeah, it's to be bad, all right. Yeah, it's interesting. Doswell's getting it too. It's not that bad here at all yet. There's a wire. There's an aerial wire that goes out the back here. And when it's windy, it bangs off the gutter of the shed. And even on a relatively just breezy night, it does be banging like mad, and it's not banging at all at the minute. So that's how I know it's not too bad out. But yeah, no, it's going to get bad. Well, they reckon here it's not gonna pick up here. Looking at the weather on the phone there, it's not gonna pick up here till about 3 o'clock. At which time I shall be safely tucked up in bed. However, a necessary journey is planned for the morning to County Wicklow, which is under the yellow warning or a red warning or some such warning. However, I'm sure we'll live. So that is the situation here with me. I hope you're all getting ready for Access Area 6. Mobile phone killed, calculators, cameras, camcorders, CB radio, the lot. They kill a lot of stuff, all right, but they are handy for shit. I certainly wouldn't be one to say that I dislike mobile telephones. I think they've made life very easy in some ways too. I suppose it's just about how you use them is the thing. But I think people are starting to go back to other stuff again, because, you know, while the mobile phone does everything, it doesn't do everything very well. So I think that proper cameras are starting to come back into vogue. Vintage hi-fi is starting to catch hold again. While you could say that, well, my phone can do anything that a hi-fi can do. Yeah, but it won't sound as good. So I think it is starting to claw back the other way now. Dave Brown says, mobiles are very cheap now. They are indeed. The Kraken says, I was taught Morse to 15 words a minute by a teacher in primary school, 74. By the time I was old enough to take the test, I was told it was written and had no one to refer to, so left it. Ah. Oh, Mr. Doswell says, the Volvo Olympian nearly finished, by the way. All new hoses, paint, suspension, leveling links. I used to love them. And an airline nicely painted and tested. You got the testing all on her. What year is the Olympian there, Dos? I remember you were talking about before, all right. I'm trying to picture it in my head, all right. Yeah. Can't stand mobile phones. Tolerate a burner. One as my colleagues call it. Yeah, I can see you getting into the drug dealing, all right, Bobby. She's a 91. Aye. 91 Olympian. Yeah. We were still rocking the Leyland Olympian here in the 93 with the Cummins L10 engine. I know the Gardner engine was more popular in the UK, but if you wanted to go somewhere in a hurry, the L10 was your man. I did put years ago. How many years ago? Few and several years ago. 14 years ago. No, sorry, 12 years ago. I changed an engine in a Leyland Titan, ex-London Leyland Titan, and that was a Gardner engine, and it had seized because the driver of it had put water in where the oil goes. And this was an easy mistake to make. You know, you got this cap on the back of the engine that says oil that flips up, and he'd been filling water into this for weeks, you know. And he'd been filling it to the neck because he thought, you know, you got to keep water in your engine. And of course, the Gardner objected to this in lovely style, and it cracked the block. The piston didn't come through the soil and just cracked the block. But anyway, we were tasked. This bus was a play bus, by the way. We were tasked with changing the engine. We had a Gardner there that wasn't too great either, but it was good enough to get the bus going. So I spent a few weeks on and off, a few minutes here and a few minutes there, swapping this engine, got it in, and I drove it from Dublin all the way down to Limerick, far side of Limerick. And I had a top speed of about, I think we were doing about 37 miles an hour. In fact, it was so slow, when I brought it out of the yard for a test run at first, I went up the road, I couldn't hear the changing gear. I had a 3-speed Viet gearbox in it. And I was convinced it was stuck in second. It was that slow. Came back to the yard and checked it. No, gearbox is working perfect. That was as hard as it went. I couldn't believe how slow this was. I haven't driven vintage buses, proper vintage buses, pre-war stuff and all, how slow this thing was. But then London Transport were into this super high ratio differentials for low speed and high quick takeoff and low speed around the city of London, which made sense. Wasn't much use on the motorway down to Limerick though. Anyway, I got there eventually. I got home that night, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning. But yeah, so I like buses. Share that passion with Mr. Doswell. Dave Brown says, vintage hi-fi cracks me up. Old records crackle and rumble. Yeah, well, I always laugh at that as well when they show, you know, when there's an ad on the TV or something, they show someone listen to a record, you know, he goes, that crackle of the record. Well, you know, they're not supposed to do that. You know, if they're clean and sound right, they're not supposed to crackle and rumble. Olympian flew back from Scotland at 55 to 60, leaning a bit to the left. That is it's a Volvo engine Olympian, isn't it? Access Area 6. Who hasn't got a mobile phone? Got to be one of the best inventions ever. Yes, I must say I was a late comer to the mobile phone. I was 18 when I got my first mobile phone, nearly 19, and that would have been 2006. Yeah, 2006. So, and everyone I knew had a mobile phone then. Now, at this stage of the game, I only know one gentleman who hasn't got a mobile phone and refuses to deal with a mobile phone. And he's a colleague of mine. And he will not have a phone. He's not that old. He must be near 50 now, but not much older. But no, he will not have a phone. But he also gives out about when people can't contact him to tell him when things are cancelled. You know, but yeah, he doesn't do mobile phones. Everyone else I know have, even very elderly people and whatnot. Everyone seems to have a mobile phone now. Let me squint at this. I fired up a 100-watt burner in my CB days. It turned my mum's telly on from standby at 3 a.m. Frightened of death. Yeah. Reminds me of our 1947 Fords and Major, lad. The High Nelly, as we call them here. The top speed of 7 miles an hour, indeed. Wasn't there a high-speed version of that? Wasn't there one of those Fords and Majors with a high-speed diff in them, though? That could do sort of 24 mile an hour or so. I seem to recall. Mr. Conway says, retro is now the big thing. The amount of TV shows now dedicated to this subject is enormous. And the money to be made is good too. YouTube is loaded with videos of everyone fixing from bikes to buses, indeed. Sometimes I think I should start a YouTube channel about my other passion about fixing buses and all, but I'm a terrible mechanic, really. The Kraken says 2006. Yeah, is that good or bad? Is that late or early? Some of us have more than one mobile phone. Indeed, I used to have 2 mobile phones at one stage. Even my nan has a mobile, and she was 102 last week. She's all over Facebook like a rash. Loves it. God love her. Fair play to her, Landy. My late grandmother would have been, let me see, she would have been 105. So she's of the same generation. Yeah, the granny who raised me, she was born in 1919. She died at the age of 93 after a very short illness. In 2006, the phone had an EC88 and 86 on the front end. Jesus, wasn't that bad. Not only that, Dave, we had Snake. Oh, there was another game on it as well, I remember. By the way, interesting story, talking about my grandmother on the phone. The only reason I ended up with a mobile phone was because I had no interest in having one either, because I used to say, the lads used to be saying, get a mobile, George, we'll tell you when we're down the pub and all this shit. And it'd be great for getting women and all, because you can text them and stuff. And it's like, yeah. But I wasn't really interested. I don't really like being contactable. I like to be able to go off grid, missing for a while. Our landline failed. And we'd no landline for 6 weeks, I'd say, or more. But the service in Ireland with the post and telegraphs was very shit. Still is. So anyway, the granny says, I need to be able to contact people and stuff. So she wanted a phone. So we went down and we got her a little Nokia phone. And she had that for the 6 or 7 weeks till the landline got reinstated. And it was a disaster, because every time she wanted to ring someone, you had to do it for her and that. Anyway, so at the end of all that, the phone was sort of sitting there in the kitchen, and she sort of said, you may as well take that with you and use it if you want. So I said, all right. But just to think of the difference, now these days you wouldn't go anywhere without your phone. But back then, I used to go to work and the phone would sit in my jacket, in my locker in work all day. I wouldn't be touched until it was gone. And then you'd look at it then when you were getting changed again at 4:30. Oh, someone rang me or whatever, I ring them back. Whereas now you have a thing where you can't go anywhere without your phone in your pocket. Back then you could have a mobile phone but still be sort of disconnected from it. Whereas now you're expected to be contactable at all times, which I don't like that aspect of the phone. I really don't. Jerry BVR has popped into the chat. We've 24 viewing with 11 thumbs up. Which means there's 13 arseholes out there. We have I don't mean that. Squinting. Access 86 says some people get stuck in the nostalgia trap and get stubborn and refuse to move forward. Indeed. Well, what was this that was said recently? Someone described themselves as a Luddite. Now apparently the Luddites weren't against change as such. They were just against the initial impact change would have on them. I must say I slot into that bracket. I'm not against change in any way, shape or form. And I've seen lots of change in my short life for the better, some for the worse, but I think overall things have changed for the better. Healthcare has gotten better, whilst access to it hasn't improved greatly. You know, these days, if you have a heart attack, your chances of surviving are very good. Whereas 20 years ago, if you took a banger, you were the dead man. Same with cancer too. Cancer treatments are quite good. As regards entertainment, now you've a little device. You can watch anything you want. Access to information has never been easier, and so forth. So I'm not against change, but the impact of change on me personally at the start, I'm not so into. You know, does that make sense? Probably not. Jerry says, back then we used to remember people's landline numbers. I remembered everyone's landline number. I can remember my auntie and uncle's number was a really easy one to remember. The area code for Swords was 840 and their number was 3210, which was very easy to remember. My own home phone number was 5654. Yeah. And the television shop was 2206. Yeah, no, there was loads of them. There was probably more I could remember. Yeah, but no, used to know them all off by heart. Now, as you say, I don't even know if my wife's mobile phone number is because she changed her number there recently, and I couldn't tell you. Like if I was caught out without my phone, which could happen because I often forget it, and I had to contact her, I'd be bollocksed because I don't know what her number is. I can remember her old phone number off by heart, all right, but not her new one. Isn't it terrible? I think it hasn't done our memory any good. We used to exercise our memory a lot more years ago. Mr. Doswell comments, Enda Carroll is here, by the way. Good evening, Enda. Please do show your support by hitting the thumbs up button. The Apple Watch saved my mate Alan's life. It told him he had an erratic heart rate. He went to the quack and he had a serious condition, gladly sorted. Isn't it amazing? Mrs. Odgenodge is here. I'm in trouble. The lady with the blue spanner has arrived into the chat. Evening all. Hope everyone well. Don't know my number. I know yours though. Popping in for a few minutes and popping out. No bother, Miriam. Yeah, well, I've had the same number since we met. It's me nanny's phone number, so I have to keep it down. Which is, I've had the same mobile phone number for nearly 20 years. There you are now. And my mate, my very good friend Marcus, He has had the same mobile phone number since he got a mobile phone, which is over 30 years ago. Nowley says, the guys I love are the ones who scam the scammers. Don't like watching a scumbag getting it up the hole. Brilliant. Oh, I love them videos on YouTube. Yeah, there's some of these computer wizards. There's actually a lady that does it as well. That's very good. And what they do is the scammer rings them and says, "Hello, I am Bill from Hewlett Packard Care, and I need to access to your computer." So you go in and you do it. And then what they would usually do is clean all your information. But what the scammers do is they put a fake desktop up on the screen, and the scammer thinks that, and then he's able to reverse into their stuff and then tell them your name is Mahindra and this, that, and the other, and you've got 2 kids and you're in this place and your IP address, and then they turn the camera on them and show them, and it's brilliant how they do it. Access area 6 landline, it can go completely dead, but mobile, if no internet, you still got emergency. That is true. The chipmunk, hey, yeah, chipmunk. Crackle says, a few friends ring me if I don't answer a message within a few minutes, acting like you know, don't like that. Yeah, no, you got to give people their space. That thing, yeah. See, that's the thing. People think now that in this day and age, you should be there, accessible 24/7. You know, can't go for a walk in the countryside on your own, leave your phone in the car for an hour. People, it's amazing how you can get into an argument with someone and not even know it. Davy Brown says, scammers ring me and I just tell them I don't have a phone. That's, yeah, funny enough, that's more of a UK thing than an Ireland thing. Like I was over in the UK there a couple of weeks ago with my father, and he gets all these calls. Now he's well able for them. I think he gets a bit of enjoyment out of them actually, but it doesn't happen that much here. We do get the bot calls, you know, where the phone doesn't say anything until you say something. So what you do is you answer the phone, you don't say, you just say nothing, and then if you hear nothing after 2 seconds, you just hang up. Because it's a robot AI thing where you say hello, then it says, hello, this is Inland Revenue, blah, blah, blah. Not true. Actually, power failure will kill cell towers. Funny enough, Chipmunk, it doesn't do it over here. We've had power failure, power cuts here, but the cell towers over here, I think, are backed up with batteries or a generator or something because we still have coverage. I can remember a couple of years ago that in the house we used to live in just outside North Dublin, a town called Lusk, power cuts were really regular there because the town had grown so big, but the substation had not, and it used to fail regularly. And what I used to be able to do was on the internet router coming into the house, I used to have an SLA 12 volt 7 amp battery, and I could plug that into it and still have Wi-Fi in the house when everyone else's was out. Doswell does every Sunday goes for a morning walk up the hills. Good man without the phone, though he has APRS in the background. The chipmunk, there is battery backup, yes, but only for a few hours. If the batteries are in good nick, aye. Yes, they wouldn't last forever, true. Jerry says, mobile dies during outages. I thought they had battery backup too. Oh. Maybe they don't have it for the buggers. We've had power cuts and mobile will go to emergency services only. Oh. Take the phone with you, but turned off. Yeah, well, it's always good to have something with you, or like if you're on walking up mountains and shit. No, good. This is a nice little live stream. This is working out quite well. 21 viewing now with 16 thumbs up. Is that a trio? I see the cracker was in here. Like you see, we discussed this already. Is that a trio? 9R 59D. I love the way he even knows it's the day model in the dark. It is indeed, yes. I think what was the day was the fitted with the HT rectifier. Or HT rectifier. What's that? HT rectifier. HT stabilizer valve from the factory. Of course, there's valve positions unused for the Crackle has one. So you know how well they drift. This one drifts quite badly. I'm going to try removing the wax, Mr. Crackle, from the RF coils. I've read about killing the Q, especially on the top band. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out. It does. This one drifts quite badly, like sort of 10 kilohertz on medium wave badly. That's what the big knob is for. Yeah. You're aware of these issues with slight frequency drift with our trio model 9R59D. I have a video on the 1st of January about gas stabilizers. Interesting. Gas stabilizers. Oddly, our fiber to the cabinet has a 16 amp generator input. During a power failure, I could run a car down the road from my generator. The Crackle is aware of this. Mine is due for similar coil work. Very good. Yeah, I was up on the top band earlier on. I got the impression that the at the lower end of the top band, the oscillator was stopping, which isn't good. They're a lovely receiver, though. I do quite like it. This one was a bargain. It was €20 a number of years ago with matching speaker. I do have the front for this as well, by the way. It's down the ground. It fell off. The glue has failed. We changed the caps in it. The caps that need to be changed. But yeah, it needs a lot more work. But it is a nice little radio to fart around with. Mr. Toswell always has things to get us interested. Oh, Andy Doswell, just a man. I have a question for you. Funny enough, a couple of weeks ago, I was working on a Route Master bus, and the gearbox ECU in the Route Master bus has failed. Not uncommon. And we have in our possession a blanking plug to plug into the loom that goes to the gearbox ECU so that you can work it like a semi-automatic box from the gear stick. We only have one of these though, and we were wondering if you'd have any of the sockets / plugs, because we know you have access to interesting things. I do hope you're still there. Andy, are you listening to me, Andy? Let me see if I can put that in a link to the one. That was the default fail mode for Vauxhall automatic car changer. I doubt it. It's like a NATO connector. I know you to be messing around with spaceships and stuff. I think they're in spaceships. I do have a diagnostic box with all the bulbs on it. I like you, Andy. Yeah, you see, I always said that Andy Doswell was a gentleman. Um, let me see. I'm trying to get into YouTube to put on my phone, to put a link to the connector to see just if you have one. I'm not afraid of buying one, by the way. They're not that expensive. Because you might just have one in your warehouse. Do forgive me, everyone, while I fart around with this. That's the plug on Farnell. I don't know why, but you just. I remember the day I got the thing, and I bet Andy Doswell has one of these. They're probably used for plugging satellites into missiles or something. Anyone else notice how London Transport just went above and beyond with everything? Everything is so heavy, and AEC stuff. Everything's really heavy and well engineered and proper. Let me catch up with the chat. Chipmunk was, I was 1, 2, was 2, D was 3. Chipmunk says, I learned this because my Astra's transmission computer kept crashing. 2 was 2, D was 3. Yeah, that's right. Brilliant. Probably a dry joint, but that was why she's gone to the scrapyard in the sky now. Roll onto the hard shoulder, turn it off, turn it on. Switching shit on and off, just is brilliant. It's like the automatic cure for everything, isn't it? As soon as I saw MIL in the line, I knew it would be expensive. Yeah. Well, when you see aerospace, you know it's going to be like it's a fucking bus. Like it's not going to the moon. Yeah, good old LJ, huh? Yeah, you want to see the shit they put in the buses now? It's unbelievable. To make the wiring looms out of cheese. And there's a lot more wires in them now than there was back then. London Transport, damn right. The diagnostic box is made from cast iron, I swear. Oh, yeah. You're unlikely to have that. I'm going to have to tell my boss that. I told him about this mystical man called Andy Doswell that makes, I don't know, spaceships and stuff. I said, and I said to him, I says, you know, Andy, if anyone has that joke, it'll be him. So I'm going to have to tell him that. Andy's actually a bit of a tosser. He doesn't have it at all. I don't have to worry. We'll just spend the 40 quid or whatever it is. We'll open that one up and see what to do. There was the one that we have, a fella used to make them and sell them on eBay, but I think he's passed away since, an XLT fella. Used to buy those sockets and put a little cap over them and link out the appropriate pins. And so what we have to do is, because I don't know, I don't have a diagram or anything for that ECU. It's made by CAV. We'll have to cut the cap off and see what he linked out and get it plugged. The only reason is we're selling the bus to a crowd that's going to restore it, but they have to be able to drive it. So, now the other thing I could do is I could just see where it's linked out and shove wires into the pins on the loom. But it's going to be going on the boat, and they need to be able to drive the bastard off, you know. But I don't know, we'll figure it out in due course anyway. The reason why the ECU was dead is because someone, I think they put the batteries on the wrong way around. And it objected to that. Aerospace grade vacuum relays, they do sound interesting. Interesting construction. Glass seals like a valve and soldered seams. You're lucky if the connections these days don't melt. It's diabolical what the manufacturers are getting away with now. Especially as now we're starting to turn around and talk about right to repair and all this stuff. I mean, right to repair me bollocks. You want to see the buses that they're building now and the shit that's on them. No, I wouldn't go down that road, Andy, anyway. And we could tell you a story about that another time. Chipmunk says, maybe put the pin links in place, then make the whole lot solid with hot melt glue, not glued into the connector, yeah, to hold the wires in place. Right, yeah, we could do that, yeah. Alan Horst is off the bed. He's going to bail out. Good night, Alan. Thanks for popping into the chat. Always appreciate it. Robert Ball's also going to hit the sack. No bother. So good night to Mr. Ball and Mr. Hurst. Thank you for popping in. Good night, lads. So that's the crack anyway, yeah, so that's our something. Even if it does wire it up that it can go into second and reverse, that would be enough. White Sapphire is still here. A big shout out to Jerry BVR, who let me know you were live and is an endlessly patient man indeed. Well, thank you very much, Jerry. I only want to say thank you to all the people who tune into my live streams. Because without you, there'd be no point doing it. Well, I could do a live stream, but if I was talking to myself, there wouldn't be much point, would there? And of course, I always encourage you to write in the chat, because without the chat, then I'm sitting here on my own thinking of shit to say. But no, it's a very good little place. And I've always said, and I always will continue to say, that the little community here is always very friendly, kind, and respectful of one another. And I think I had to get rid of one person since I started. There was one chap who was just off the wall for whatever reason, and we don't know why. But and I had no choice but to discommunicate him. But overall, I've never had any issue here at all. It's such a friendly, respectful chat, and everyone is so helpful to one another. It's unbelievable. So it's great, and certainly you should be encouraged. That's one I like to see the channel grow and whatnot and get bigger. But on the other hand, I don't want to. I just got WhatsApp off Andy Dozzo, by the way. I'll look at that in a while, Andy. On the other hand, though, with the live streams, I wouldn't like to see them get too much bigger than this, because it's just a manageable amount. I have looked at big Clive live streams in the past, just to see what they're about, because I know some of you here watch those. But to be honest, there's too much going on. You can't follow the chat, because there's so many people watching. The chat's just whizzing up the whole time. So yeah, I actually find I get a headache, so I couldn't. It's not for me. Access Area 6 says he gets lots of trolls on his channel. Luckily enough, I've never had much of that trouble at all, which is good. You know, because that's the last thing we want. At the start, I did, funny enough, but I haven't had any problems in years. So funny enough, I'm not making as many videos as I used to either at the minute. Clive's Patreon streams are much better / quieter. Too many in a live stream become in person and a bit bland. Now, the big Clive, I must say, he comes across as a quite affable fellow, and I must say that the Isle of Man is a place that I've always had a wish to visit. So if I ever do visit, perhaps I might come across Mr. Clive, Mr. Big Clive. The chat is too busy for him too. So he's outgrown himself, perhaps. Well, it's a hard one to call, isn't it? My power supply is still drawing 34 milliamps at 12.2 volts, which you brainiacs out there will know that's about 4 watts. As I said at the start of the stream, I was out here making a video, an introductory video to the Bush TV62, which is not mine, it's my wife's. Yeah, hard to understand that one, isn't it? Some of you recall that I restored one of these many years ago for a radio museum in Howth, County Dublin. And Miriam was quite taken with it and wanted one herself. It has got a lovely cabinet. So we got one a couple of years ago on MVCF. So it's, we're going to see how it goes. I have to say, my comment section is generally very respectful, Mr. Doswell. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, no, I haven't had much trouble with YouTube at all. I know it can be a nightmarish place. As I say, at the start, a couple of years ago, we did have trolley things or whatever, which are very easy to deal with, by the way. And I had one or two very off-center people, for whatever reason, I don't know. But they had to be deleted or whatnot. But overall, I haven't had any issue in the last 3 or 4 years. And as I say, in this live stream, now one of the things I do on the live stream, you will understand, is that I make it subscribers only, but you only have to be a subscriber for 1 minute to actually make a comment. And what that does is it cuts out the bots. Because I noticed a couple of times at the start of doing these live streams that you get all these mad bot comments about, www.ridemeupthearse.com and all this kind of stuff would start lashing into the live stream. But if you make it subscribers only, that stops that straight away, which is super. Chipmunk says, if you do, I can tell you how to contact him publicly. Maybe you two could do a joint stream. That would be epic. I don't know if we'd want to do a joint stream with such a small-time YouTuber such as me, but I'd certainly be on for meeting them and having a chat with them, at least. I follow a few electrician channels, and some of the comments get out of hand. For any 10 electricians, there are 11 ways to do it, and 10 of them are wrong, according to one comment. Yeah. Well, I suppose it depends. I suppose what we're doing here is so niche. With vintage televisions and shit, normal people aren't interested in 405 television and so forth. But on the whole, no, life is good here. But I'd say if you are more mainstream, this is why I said earlier on that I would have a half an interest in doing a YouTube channel on my day job, But I think you get so many wanker bus mechanics in Go Ahead, Chester or whatever, commenting that you're doing it wrong, that it wouldn't be worthwhile. Maybe I'd be on for doing a joint anything with you. I'd smoke a joint with you, or I would do a YouTube video with you anytime, Mr. Doswell. 4 p.m. on a Saturday, I'd be asleep. Saturdays are never good for me because I'm always up to me tits in a vintage bus, truck, or lorry, or so forth on a Saturday. Chipmunk is also interested in buses. Good. And trains. Don't do trains. I wouldn't say don't do trains. I don't know much about trains. I haven't been exposed to trains in the same sense that I've been exposed to motor omnibuses. It's getting fairly wild here now, John. You'll be warned. Ooh. It's raining outside, but it's not windy. I'll be back in a minute. Now, I think I'm back. Am I back? Yes. Sound modulation light is blinking. Anyone remember these lights that used to sit on top of televisions years ago? Very 1970s. See, I don't think the bulb is good in this one though. I'll have to. The bulb was blown in this one. I picked up this one the other day, and funny enough, I have an identical one out in the shed, which I have used for set dressing on prop tires. This one on the big bright light. Ugh. Yes, that bulb is blown, properly blown. Have I a replacement of a sensible size? I don't know, would this one go inside? 40 watt, that's a bit bright. Nope. Oh, man. This one will. Don't mind me. I'll be with the chat now just in a second. And the 40 watt on the Variac. Well, 40 watt won't fit in. The bulb is too big to fit in the little hole. What am I looking for? I am looking for my safe block socket, which could be anywhere because I moved it slightly earlier on. There we are. Really do need to tidy the place up. The problem with tidying the place up is it gets dirty. tricky again. So it's a bit of a no-win situation, isn't it? Ah, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, it looks very bright on the camera, though. It's not that bright in real life. Am I the only one who finds that all these leads get tangled on the bench? There we go, that's better. It's about 90 volts or so. Doesn't that look lovely? Now, sorry about that. Just had a strain wanted me to see that light up tonight. Let me see. And the Carol, I recently started working on buses coming from an HGV background. A lot to learn. Yes. More air systems for the start end, as you've probably learned. CAN bus systems, sensitive edges on doors, all that kind of shite. Better than a vase of flowers waiting to be knocked over or a potted plant waiting to be overwatered, indeed. Ah, the 70s souvenir of Benetton. Yeah, they've two of these. It's made in England, this. It says it on the glass. Made in England with pride, yeah. The other one I have is identical to this, except the glass, I think, is straight on it. But they're really nice, so I do like them. They look well on top of a TV of a similar vintage. Or the lighthouse with a 15-watt pygmy. Yeah. Now, I can remember being given one of those lighthouses with a 15-watt pygmy when I was a kid. Of course, it ended tragically with a hammer. I think it was about 5. But yeah, I seem to remember I had a motor that ran the blades of the windmill around. Is that right? Or am I mistaken? I can't remember. Access Area 6 grand blew up the telly, yeah. The Chipmunk says, saw a few of them in Les Lowry's series in television. Yeah. Poor old Les. The unsung hero. It's sad that, Les was such a well-known, famous man. You think that every television shop in Ireland and throughout the United Kingdom of Great Britain had that magazine. And there were hundreds of thousands of TV shops throughout. And they all read Les. Les was a very famous man. You imagine if Les was around today to have a YouTube channel, how many subscribers Les Lowry Johns would have. And yet, he wasn't that well known personally. Yet he strikes me, what with his war service and all, of being a man that they could have certainly made a film about. He passed away in '93 into obscurity. I often wonder what happened to Honey Bunch. I wonder how long she lasted after, or is she still around? Well, I would say she is still around. She must be a super age by now. Although from his writings, I get the impression that Honey Bunch was a little bit younger than Les. So, yeah, I do recall reading some time ago that the site where his shop was, there's now a whole shopping centre built on top of that. So there's nothing recognisable of when Les was there. It's sad, isn't it? Now a couple of years goes by and there's absolutely no trace of you whatsoever. I am into 70s ta. Now I am into my 50s. It's nostalgic as hell. Well, there you go. You couldn't get much more nostalgic than that, can you? It was lovely. Um, there was a small... yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Now, of course, I smashed this up with a hammer. But yes, I knew there was... I had a small motor. Now, I had failed. There was something wrong with it. That's why I got it. Yeah. A Le Creuset motor. Yeah. Yeah. That's a memory now, all right, from a very long time ago. The windmill with the little bulb in it. I haven't seen one like that since my nan had one. What seems like half a lifetime ago. Speaker card mains cable. That's right. Speaker card mains cable. Nice and safe. Chipmunk has all his PDFs or all his articles as a PDF. Needs a blue plaque, yeah, stuck to the side of a shopping centre. Here was Mr. Lowry John's TV shop. Yeah, it is sad, isn't it? I know a gentleman off the UK Vintage Radio Forum who I won't name here, but he would have been up until recent times a very big contributor with articles and television restoration and stuff. Sadly, his health doesn't allow anymore. But he told me at an MVCF, I was speaking to him one year, a couple of years ago now, and he told me how he after Les passed away and had been announced in the television magazine, he had wrote to her, Les's wife, and had said to him how Les had helped him on his journey to become a TV repairman, and how he was able to open up his own TV shop and build a career for himself on the back of what he had read with Les's articles in the Practical Television magazine. And you wonder how many more people out there were inspired to go and do the same, you know. Actually, that man must have had such an enormous impact on so many lives. And he probably never realised it himself. I keep meaning to set up time lapse on a pile of leads just to see how it happens. So many inventors died penniless and dead. I knew where Roger Bunny lived, local to me. His garden was easy to spot, all the dishes, I'd imagine. I wonder, is he still with us? I know I haven't read of his demise yet. He would be a strong age now too. I wonder what's left in the world of DXTV. Well, I know there's not much in the analog sense, but on satellite, I wonder, is there anything worth pointing dishes at and things to try and get captures these days? He inspired me not to be a TV engineer, but to realise electronics is not a mystery. I am one of the few sparks who can carry full soldering gear in the van and component assortments. Well, there you are. Well, you're a very clever man because being an electrician was always the better trade. If I could go back and redo it all tomorrow, I would have been an electrician, hands down. This thing of going around with spanners, I come home every day like a coal miner. Um, that's not to say that I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy it, but it's bloody hard work and it's dirty work. You can fix appliance faults and impress the customer. And indeed, Chipmunk, and there's probably it gives you more scope to make a lot more money as well, I'm sure. There's 16 viewers with 22 thumbs up. People have come, people have gone, but it's 25 to 1. We'll keep going for another little while. The rain is starting to come down now, a bit heavier on the shed. I can hear it out there. In that case, I may have another drama. You may as well, Andy. So we're here now. We're here now. Let's see if we can hear that on the radio. We'll turn it up. This is always a good filler with the way when things go quiet. Oh, we're listening to Radio Caroline, by the way. Coming in quite well, actually. You don't need a new 400-pound oven. You just need a new dropper cap in the power. So, lovely. Little fixes like that. You just make sure you're charging enough for it. As I said here the other night about people undercharging for repair work, fecking it up for the rest of us. You gotta charge. I remember Tomo used to say in the shop years ago, he used to say, you know, when people come in and their television would be a 2-minute fix for whatever, you know, whatever stock fault was wrong with the television, power supply or whatever, it wouldn't come on. And he'd take the back off, boop, 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 out with the iron, in new part, then. They say, how much are you going to charge for that? And it will be, you know, say, oh, that's going to be £225. How can you justify charging that, Paul? I says, well, it took me a long time to learn how to do that. And the lights don't stay on in this shop for the crack, you know? He was bloody right. And remember that. Knowledge isn't easily gained. It takes a lot of hard work to learn all the stuff that you need to know to do all this. If I am there 5 minutes, including removing the oven, you pay 50 quid for me fixing it that fast. Good man, Chipmunk. £50 is £50. You're dead right. You know, it'd be grand if you could get 2 or 3 of them a day. Radio Caroline coming in beautifully there at the minute. Takes years too. The years are the hard bit. Yeah, all the mistakes you make. All the things you blow up on the way. All the sleepless nights thinking about doing exams and all that kind of stuff. It's not easily done. I recently let my ancient board 43 true line. Oh no, I don't want to read the rest of this. I know where this is going. True line meter to someone recently. It's a battered old girl. It was posted back to me today with a fresh calibration certificate. What a deal! Wonderful. I say Access Area 6 says I save thousands repairing my own. As I say to my wife, you know, we're lucky in the sense that if something does go wrong here, be it with our vehicles or stuff around the house or that I am able to repair most things. You know, like recently an injector went in the van, and the injector was €220 for a replacement injector. She said to me, you know, it's an awful lot of money. I says, no, it's not, because all I have to do is go and give the man the money for the injector. If we brought this van to Nissan to be diagnosed by their workshop experts, you'd be looking at over €1,200. So being able to do these things yourself means a great deal. The crackle is hitting the bed. That's okay. Where did I think that was going? I thought it was going to, you got your true line, your lovely, beautiful board, 43 true line watt meter back in like several pieces with an open circuit meter. That's what I thought it was heading, Andy, to be quite honest. I had one of those once and I sold it. It only had 2 plugs and were both for UHF. And I sold it for €225. And I think it would have been better off holding on to it and buying a couple of plugs for it, to be honest. Whatever. But they are a lovely instrument. They really are. Tommy Hanlon is here. One goes and one comes with. Good night, Crackle, and thank you very much for popping in. I always appreciate seeing you in the chat. You always have interesting things to say. Good night and sleep well. I've had my washing machine triggers for 20 years. Yeah, funny enough, a friend of mine, actually, the friend of mine is the same gentleman who has the washing, who refuses to engage with mobile telephone technology, has a washing machine, which I think now must be over 40 years old, and it failed about 10 years ago. This will be now 40-year-old washing machine failed. And he said, he was recounting the story. He says, you know, I was very concerned for a while, John Joe, because I thought that I might have to get the motor rewound. But Jesus Christ, just buy a new washing machine. Even I'd give up at that stage, you know. But it was only the motor start cap, so it was okay. Yeah, some people just don't give in, you know. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Fair play to them. You got to respect. You have to respect that too. That's about the money. Yeah, no, I didn't give it away. No, I knew I was selling it for what. I knew I was selling it at the going right, but I just sort of, I thought I should have. It was spotless. It had very little use. It was used for fault finding and bus two-way radio systems. I only used a bag a couple of times, but even still, I'm sure we'll probably come across another one at some stage. So Tommy Hannon's here. Our tumble dryer has a U-joint on the mechanical timer. For whatever reason, it failed, so we replaced it with a homemade one from 20mm plastic conduit and bits of brazen rod. Fair play to you. This has actually been a very good live stream, I must admit. Even if the storm is battering down on the roof of ye shed. Chipmunk is soldering LEDs right now. What are you making, Chipmunk? Christmas decorations? The washer drum is perfect, but it's had 3 sets of bearings. Oh, we used to love that. We used to do the one of the things John did in the TV shop, and what kept the shop going was he wasn't afraid to diversify. He sold all the spare parts for white goods, or you could order parts through him. So we used to have the same people coming in, sort of once every year or two, for bearings and stuff for their 40-year-old washing machine. It was great. It was really enjoyable. It's sad to think that that's all gone now. Yep, a rainbow colour for my plush dapper who lives on the dash of my van. Got a pack of colour changing LEDs. Oh, very nice. What sort of van have you got, just for interest? A Citroen Berlingo 2017. Ah, lovely. They're not a bad joke, them. I have a Nissan NV200, which I absolutely love. It's my second one. The first one had 200 and something thousand kilometers on it. The second one I got at a reasonable price, I believe, with 33,000 kilometers, which will be around 19,000 miles on it. A 19 plate, and it's beautiful little van. 6-speed gearbox, goes like a feckin' antichrist. Funny enough, Chipmunk, the Citroen Berlingo was a very popular van over here. Very popular. Andy had 250,000 miles and the body rotted off. Yeah, you have a lot of salt on the roads over there. Not to say that we use salt on the roads over here now too, but one of the tricks I do in the winter is sort of once a week I get the hose underneath and just rinse all the shit off it, which helps a lot. Drive through puddles indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Drive the shit out of them. No, I just get the hose of a garden hose here and I bring it out and I just blow it under the wheel arches and underneath as best I can. And it helps an awful lot. We have 15 viewing with 24 thumbs up. This is the BBC. Soon enough it'll be time to listen to the shipping forecast. We won't get it on this because Radio 4 has gone off long wave. Isn't that, or medium wave? Isn't that terrible? We could have listened to the shipping forecast and sail and buy, but we can't on this radio.
Right, it would have been Harry Chapin's birthday today. He was born this day in, some papers say 41, some say 42. Anyway, sadly, no longer with us. I can't take this one, haven't I? Hello, sunny place. What did you think when you heard the band on the radio? What did
It's really lashing outside now. Mr. Doswell, if you're still there, sir, in the chat, have you been doing any? I know you had a great interest in low-powered AM radio. You know, pantry transmitters and so forth. It didn't go above 100 milliwatts. Have you been doing any of that kind of thing lately? Ah, yes, wet, wet, wet. We all remember that. You heard it here. First, chipmunk is the cause of the shutdown of Droitwich. Well, you know, I think Longwave should be taken over by the people. People like you and I. Mr. Doswell, I also would like to accidentally exceed 100 milliwatts in the medium wave band. What could you recommend? Do you have a TV repairing coming up? The last... Move the mouse slightly. Do you have a TV repair coming up? The last I did was a Ferguson TX10 voltage regulator. I do. That's how I ended up here tonight because I did an introductory video to the next TV video that I'm doing. 200 kilowatt. It's got the resistor out. To go from 100 milliwatt to 200 kilowatt will be some resistor. I'll tell you that. I'll send you a link when it's perfected. Good man, Andy. Oh yes, we haven't heard from Jerry in a while. Is his battery and inverters holding up? I don't know if I've shown you my giant bulbs lately, but here's two. I don't know what wattage they are because it's not stated on them. I reckon about 500 each anyway. Look at them. They're lovely, aren't they? There's a dude at the MVCF that sells these for £2 each, and he is a rake of them. There's one on the table. I went up, but I says, how much for the bulb there, brother? And he says, £2. Says, all right, yeah. And as soon as I took it off the bench, even another one just appeared in front of me. He says, how much for that one? £2. I says, okay. Lovely, aren't they? Factory lighting, 1960s style. It'll be a bit brighter than that anyway. White Rose has a bunch of 250 watt street light bulbs. Ah, lovely. You gotta love the old incandescent bulbs. They're just special, aren't they? No matter what wattage. We had some 1 kilowatt GLS lamps at university when I was training, size of a football. I would love to see one of them. Yeah. E40 base. Rob's radio channels here. Good evening, Rob. How are you? Hope you're keeping well. Yeah. That's the base on them. Is that E40? I'm not sure. I know it's hard to scale it off anything else. Here's a ordinary BC. Does that help? Socks are stupid expensive. 240-watt socks in the back garden. Yeah, that'd be nice. So, sodium oxide. Yeah, low pressure. Nice red light of them. Orangey red glow. It's so sad that all these things are vanishing, isn't it? That's an E40. Ah. I wonder if they do bigger than that. I'm sure they do. Get another can for myself. I'll go in after this one, so you're forewarned in about 15 minutes. I shall be departing this live stream because to get up early in the morning, actually, I shouldn't be here at all. Funny enough. Dozzers has no whiskey left. Well, that's never good. Andy, you spelled whiskey wrong, by the way. Fair play to you, Rob. We hope you're keeping well anyway, Robbie. Nope. As far as I know, E40 was the largest size Edison base. That's interesting. I think it's also called, you know the way Edison also, no, I think E40 was the E numbers were a rationalized thing, weren't they? Where they were, you know, the way they were also known as like, you know, mes, les. And then I think these were Jez, weren't they? Gigantic Edison screw. I'm not sure, but I know there's some sort of a rhyme or reason to that. Welsh whiskey. What? If it's not triple distilled, it's not worth drinking. Goliath Edison screw. Ah, there you go. Yeah, it's a big screw, all right, to be fair, yeah. Wasn't Edison a very clever chap? Oh, you've had a bright idea. For £2, you couldn't refuse him, could you? I've another giant one around here somewhere that I found a skip recently. Penderyn, it's lovely. I'm a Jemison man myself, and then if I can get a drop of red breast or something like that, then I'll take that as well, you know. Or the old green spot. Etc. Yeah. I know Mez because that's the one that's in the radios, mostly. Radio Caroline coming in there, super now. No interference at all in that signal now. That is super. Isn't it? It's interesting to hear all these Spanish stations coming in. You wonder if they're having any thoughts of switching off their medium wave services. Powers, A and D can used to go blind with a tipping of Powers. But different countries use different sizes, so hence the defining in millimeters. Rob's radio likes a drop of Powers as well. I'm always a gem man myself now, I must say. I wouldn't say no to a drop of Powers, but Gemmonson will be my first part of call. Edison USA bases E26, E27 EU, for example. We see, I didn't know any of this. This is educational. Andy says, now that Wellbrook has sadly gone, yes indeed, I believe the gentleman behind the Wellbrook loop has passed away. Does anyone have experience of the Chinese loops? I don't. I did get some sort of a amplifiery thing for the loop quite some time ago off AliExpress, but I never actually pressed it into service. I don't even know what it is now. Maybe here somewhere. Is it in this drawer? No. It's not in that drawer either. I have a feeling I'm not going to put my hand on it just now. Oh, me, I've probably lost the bloody thing anyway. But no, I did get one. But I had a Philips branded chip on it. And 2 connectors for a wire loop. And then you had a connection for an SMA coax. And then the 12-volt input. And there was a gain controller. But I never actually pressed it into service, so I don't know if it was any good or not. Fitting a European bulb to American can be not optimal. Still picking up all the UK DAB radio stations here. Good man, Rob. Tommy Hannon, yep, it can be confusing. The Goliath size is in America is E39, Europe E40. The tolerance mostly makes it interchangeable until you get 2 out of tolerance in the wrong direction. Well, that answers a problem I've had before, all right. But bulbs not going into holders. Now I know. Can you pick up 3 radio stations on long wave? I can, but not on this radio. But the 3 radio stations we can get here, Radio 4, Algeria on 252, and Radio Polski on 224, I think. See, fountain of knowledge, indeed. Right, I have a piano to fix in the morning. I'm going to hit the hay. Good night, all. Good night, sir. I'm also going to hit the hay. Them Wikipedia rabbit holes, they'll get you. Right, I should say good night, so I will. Because it is night time. Most certainly. Right, I want to thank everyone who commented tonight on tonight's live stream. It's been very good, by the way. I've quite enjoyed this live stream. In no particular order, the recent participants in the live stream, notwithstanding those who have been and gone, are Accessory 6, Noel Conway, Mr. Andy Doswell Square, Jerry BVR, Rob's Radio Channel, The Chipmunk, Tommy Hannon, White Sapphire, and others people that have been and gone that aren't mentioned in the participant list. Andy Doswell, wow, thanks very much, Andy. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. My YouTube, my YouTube money just doubled for this month. Thank you very much. That goes a long way to heating the shed and whatnot. I appreciate that. Power gone for night, chips. Ah, no. Jerry, hope your power comes back soon. Good night, all. Take it easy. Everyone, that's Tommy. I must give you €100 for Christmas. Stop. Put it toward that connector. I will indeed. Oh, it's not my bus, so maybe I won't. Thanks very much, Andy. Thanks very much, everyone. And we'll catch you in the next one soon, no doubt. I hope we do more of these off ad hoc live streams over the Christmas period. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much.